Hello everyone and welcome to another how-to video here on the Cultivate Geospatial YouTube channel. My name is Trip Corbin and I'm a Senior GIS Professional Consultant Instructor here at Cultivate Geospatial. In this video, I'll be showing you how you can use a map topology to edit multiple features at one time with a single edit. This should greatly increase your efficiency when you're editing data from within the ArcGIS Pro application. I think you'll find this really cool if you didn't already know about it. And I've been surprised at how many folks don't know about map topologies, even old ArcMap users, because map topologies go all the way back to ArcMap. They're nothing new, but for some reason, I guess Esri didn't really tout them very much. But when you're editing data and you're editing multiple layers, multiple features and all that, I think this is going to be a game changer for you. So let's kind of get going. Before I get into showing you how you can use a map topology to edit multiple features and improve your editing efficiency, I want to make sure everybody understands what a topology is. A topology is used to model how features are related spatially. Are they adjacent to one another? Or are they connected to one another? Do they overlap one another? Right? So we can use that when we're looking at data to make sure things are the way they're supposed to be, so that we don't introduce errors into our data with gaps and unexpected overlaps and those kind of things. In ArcGIS, we have two types of topologies that we can use. We have the Geo Database Topology and we have the Map Topology. And each has its own use case, and we'll talk about that now. So looking at Map versus Geo Database Topology, there are several differences as well as commonalities between these. First is the minimum licensing level that you need of ArcGIS Pro in order to edit data with either a map or geodatabase topology. A map topology will work at any license level, meaning you can have a basic, you can have a standard, or you can have advanced. Or in the terms of the new user license model with Pro, you can be a creator, you can be a professional, or a professional plus to utilize a map topology. Whereas a geodatabase topology requires you to have at least a standard or advanced license of ArcGIS Pro in order to edit the data within that geodatabase topology. Again, or in the new user model that Esri's released, you have to be a professional or a professional plus user in order to leverage a geodatabase topology. Another big difference between these two is where do they reside. A geodatabase topology, as the name would imply, is stored within your geodatabase. It is persistent in that database. It's in there right alongside your feature classes, your standalone tables, your relationship classes, and so on. A map topology is not persistent. It only exists during that editing session within ArcGIS Pro. And as a result, there are no rules. Unlike the geodatabase topology, where you can apply rules, say things like polygons must not overlap, must not have gaps, or a point must be at the end of a line, and so on, a map topology doesn't have any rules like that. So you cannot validate your data with a map topology. That requires a geodatabase topology. One of the powers or pluses of a map topology is that because it's not persistent, because it doesn't exist just in that geodatabase, is the fact that it works when editing features that are in different workspaces. So what do I mean by workspace? A workspace is a storage container for your GIS data. That can be a geodatabase, that can be a shapefile, that can be a web service. Any of those things are considered a workspace. So a map topology can be used to edit features that are in any of those types of workspaces, be it shapefile, web feature service, or a geodatabase. The geodatabase topology is limited to a single geodatabase, and even more so because it's limited to a single feature data set within that geodatabase. So only the feature classes that are inside that feature data set can take part in that topology. So this reduces some of the editing flexibility of the geodatabase topology. But don't forget, the geodatabase topology does have the ability to do the validation of the data, where the map topology doesn't. So you get that trade-off of flexible editing versus validation in there. The other thing that goes along with that is the fact that the geodatabase topology, as again the name would imply, only works in geodatabase and only in the geodatabase and the feature data set that exists. Whereas we were just saying the map topology works with multiple data formats. Again, shapefiles, geodatabases, web services, all of that. But what they both do is allow us to edit data, or let me back that up, edit multiple features at one time. So simultaneous editing of those features that are part of that topology. So how does that work? How do we create, now that we know the difference between a map topology and a geodatabase topology, how do we create a map topology for us to edit data inside of ArcGIS Pro? Well, let's jump into ArcGIS Pro and take a look, shall we? Okay, so here we are in ArcGIS Pro, and I have 4 layers over here that you can see. I have a right-of-ways layer, a parcels layer, voting districts, and city limits. So we have lines and polygons that we are going to be editing. So in this scenario, I've got this road that you see here with my mouse pointer moving that has had some additional right-of-way to the east, this side over here, that's been acquired. So I need to update the road right-of-ways, but the city limits, the parcels, and the voting districts here all are contiguous or follow that right-of-way. So I need to update those as well to follow where the new right-of-way is going to go. This is a perfect opportunity for using a map topology. So the first thing I need to do is start or create that map topology. So what I'm going to do is I go up to the ribbon here and I make sure I'm on the Edit tab. So I'm on the Edit tab. Then down here you'll see where it says No Topology. I want to select the drop down and click Map Topology. So it's now generated that map topology automatically from all editable layers that are in the map. Now there's some settings as well that you can adjust that go with the map topology. So if I click the settings button here, it opens the editor settings window. And we can deal with things like snapping and grid constraints and so on. But I'm going to go down here to the topology option. And there are several settings associated with the map topology. First is style, which you'll see in a minute when I select features I'm going to edit. How does it display those? Is it all elements? Is it just selected elements or edges and nodes that are associated with those features? What colors do these look like? The default is this kind of bright pink color. And what scale or what thickness do you want to make those? You can adjust that. And then down here is something called the cluster tolerance. The cluster tolerance is how close do features have to be before the software considers them to be coincident or in the same basic location there. So you can use the automatic cluster tolerance, which in this case is 0.00328083 US feet, or do you want to set up your own cluster tolerance? If this was a geodatabase topology, you should, in most cases, accept the default or automatically calculated cluster tolerance. In the case of a map topology, you're a little bit more flexible on this because you're not validating data. And with a geodatabase topology, when you validate data, it's automatically going to snap features together within the cluster tolerance. Here, we're not snapping any features together necessarily automatically. We're just trying to determine if they're in the same basic location. So if you know you have data of if equality, you could potentially want to use something other than the automatic cluster tolerance. For this, I am going to use the automatic cluster tolerance. 99 times out of 100, I use the automatic cluster tolerance, and it's fine. So I'm going to click OK to close that window. The next thing I want you to see is where is this data coming from, these 4 layers that we're working with. So in the contents pane, I'm going to click on List by Data Source, and we can see where these different layers are referencing to. So the right-of-ways and the city limits layers are both in this Tripville GIS geodatabase. So that's one workspace. The parcels here I can see are coming from a web feature service. I can tell by the icon here. And then the voting districts here are coming from a shapefile. And again, I can tell that because it's showing a traditional folder structure here, like you would store files on your computer. Okay? So I have data coming from 3 different workspaces in 3 different formats here that I want to edit. Okay? And again, in Pro, excluding even Map Topology, this is fine. Pro edits back and forth between these without any issue. But what we'll see here is I'm going to edit all of these here in a moment. The voting district boundary, the parcel boundaries, the city limit boundary, and the right-of-way lines with a single edit using the map topology that I've just set up. Okay. So again, I want to make sure that these are editable. So I click my list by editing. I can see that yes, these all are editable. I want to make sure they're selectable as well. So they're all selectable. So I'm good to go from this perspective. So what I want to do here, again, is adjust the right-of-way for this section right in here from this northern kind of boundary here down to this southern boundary where the city limit is crossing the road, and add additional right-of-way here to the east. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. So I need to modify those. So I'm going to go up here into my tools and I'm going to select Reshape. And you can see that's opened the Modify Features pane over here where the catalog pane was displaying a minute ago. And you see I have 2 options, Features and Edge. I'm going to quickly turn off the Map Topology and go back to No Topology for a moment. So you can see here that when you don't have a Map Topology enabled, you will not see the Edge option. If I go back to Map Topology, you can see the Edge option comes back into play. So I'm going to click Edge. Notice when I clicked on Edge, see how all the kind of contiguous boundaries became this pink color? Those are the contiguous edges that I can select from to edit. So I want to select the edges, which would be this one and this one here that I want to edit. So I'm going to select that. And I'm going to hold my Shift key down and select this one. And so those are the edges I'm going to edit. Now with that, I'm going to come over here where it says Reshape in the Reshape tool, pick it. Notice that my edit toolbar came in down here. And I'm going to start here at this location. And now you can use your standard construction tools to be more exact, get the right distance, the right, angles and all those things, just like you normally would when editing. I'm, for the sake of brevity, going to just kind of eyeball this, but say it comes out to about here. And then I'm going to go up to about where it starts to curve. Follow the curve as best I can. Click here and double click there to finish that. There we go. It performed the edit. And now you can see, and I'll turn off edges for a moment, you can see that it just, with that single edit, it edited all of these layers. It edited the city limits, which is the dark black line there. It edited the voting districts, which is where this purple fill is. You can see it edited the road right-of-way line, which is where this black line is. And we can definitely see it if we turn off. Let's turn off these other things right there. Turn off parcels, so you can see it edited the right-of-way. If I turn off the right-of-way, you can see it edited the parcel boundary. So it edited a line and 3 different polygons with that one single edit. And of course, now if I wanted to, I would save this. I'm not going to save this because this is demo data that I use for other things as well. But hopefully that demonstrates the power of a map topology and how it can increase your editing efficiency when you're trying to edit multiple features in a situation like this. But it really works with any situation where you have features that are adjacent to one another or are coincident, meaning on top of one another, that you need to edit. Hopefully you found this video helpful and educational, and really shows you something that you can use as you are working in ArcGIS Pro, maintaining multiple data layers, and that this will increase the speed at which you're able to do that. We do appreciate you watching. Please make sure to subscribe to our channel if you haven't. We hopefully will be adding more and more videos like this to the channel to add value. But you have to subscribe and make sure you have notifications turned on to know when we do that. So please make sure you do that. Otherwise, if you have any ideas about additional content, topics, whatnot that you would like to see us cover in a how-to video or general informational video, please let us know. You can go to our website at cultivategeospatial.com and contact us there. So with that, folks, thank you so much for watching, and please have a wonderful day, and we'll see you in the next video.